Menopause may just be the tipping point of issues that you may have already had, but either you weren't aware of or you weren't really paying a lot of attention to until now. And today what I want to talk about is gut health, where we know that we have this ecosystem of bacteria residing in our guts, known as the microbiome, which can have profound effects on your metabolism, supporting your weight loss goals and also your health. Now, estrogen, which we know declines during menopause, is known to have some protective roles in protecting this diversity of microbes. And also it does this by promoting the beneficial bacteria. Now, dysbiosis, in other words, the imbalance of bacteria in your gut, has been implicated with increased risk of, yes, obesity, but also diabetes, and of course hormonal imbalances, and not to mention osteoporosis too. Now, while the majority of estrogen in women is produced by the ovaries, the microbes in your gut can affect the way estrogen is metabolized. And if you have this imbalance of bacteria, believe this or not, the estrogen that is supposed to be excreted or pooped out can get reabsorbed into your body. And I believe this could be the perfect storm because, the drop in estrogen alone can contribute to changes in your body composition. Now we're losing estrogen's protection and our microbiome, which only exacerbates this predicament and increases inflammation and also the intestinal permeability. And the combination of all of these factors will increase the likelihood that you could have some metabolic issues and, yep, some unwanted body composition changes. Now for the good news. It doesn't have to, as the health of your microbiome is affected by numerous controllable factors such as diet, exercise, sleep, stress, of course, and as I mentioned in my prior video, exposure to environmental toxins which connect endocrine disruptors. So in today's video, I am going to share with you my top strategies to protect your microbiome and keep it healthy so that you can achieve your weight and health goals. So here are my top suggestions to keep your microbes in balance. Number one is diet. What you should be eating and what not to eat. Remember, you're not the only one eating, because whatever you eat feeds particular microbes in the gut, and we want to make sure that we are feeding the beneficial ones while starving out the bad guys. So what you want to include would be a diversity of vegetables, which is really important to get a variety, as though this will determine a variety of diversity of microbes in your gut as well. Now, the undigested fibers that are in these vegetables are not digested by us, but because they provide fuel for the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria in the gut. And these colors also contain something called polyphenols, which also can actually help protect the beneficial bacteria while inhibiting the growth of the pathogenic or bad guys, which is pretty impressive for just trying to focus on eating a rainbow. Now, in particular, I'm always talking about those dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, which have a compound in it that actually can take out some of those environmental estrogens, which I've mentioned. And also legumes such as chickpeas have great fiber. And let's not forget onions, asparagus, artichokes, and even avocados, which contain both healthy fat and fiber. Also, be sure to include a variety of fermented foods, such as one of my favorites, which is apple cider vinegar, but other ones would be sauerkraut, unsweetened kefir, or miso soup, because each one of them actually represent a different family of organisms that we're introducing into the gut. And then also, in addition to vegetables which contain fiber, you also might add some other sources of fiber such as psyllium husk, ground flax, or chia seeds. Oh, and this one is a fun one. Yes, wine and dark chocolate specifically have also been shown that they can help some of the beneficial bacteria in the gut. So I say cheers to that. Okay, now what not to include, because there are, of course, those bacteria that are fighting against you and working for their own survival. And this bacteria actually contributes to a slow metabolism, but then even scarier than that actually cause you to crave the foods that they live off of. And what do you think those foods are? Well, you guessed it. Okay, sugar, highly processed carbs that, of course, quickly break down to sugar, and ones that also contain those dangerous seed oils such as corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, that frequently come together with those processed carbohydrates, work together to exacerbate what's going on in the gut. Also, you want to beware of foods that contain antibiotics or preservatives. Certainly, deli meat would be one of the foods that I would suggest eliminating, because they do contain preservatives that have been approved by the FDA through a loophole called generally recognized as safe, never tested on humans. But you have to imagine that these foods' these additives' purpose is to stop the growth of yeast, mold, and bacteria. But we know now, after 20 plus years of it being in our food supply, that it actually is contributing to making us sick and fat. Of course, it is not just limited to the deli meats. It's in, all the breads, cartons, food, anything I would tell you that's out on the shelf. You need to be aware to look at the ingredients that are in there. And I think a good rule of thumb is to get food that can grow green in a reasonable period of time. Another thing to avoid would definitely be sucralose and aspartame, as we have known now that these non-nutritive sweeteners also can mess up with the bacteria in your gut. And also thinking about the packaging that food is in that might contain bisphenol A or BPA, such as plastic containers or even cans of soup, is really a concern. So try to take a look at that as well. Okay, my next suggestion is if you do have some sort of dysbiosis or bacterial imbalance, we want to get treated. And how do you know if you have it? Well, certainly some common symptoms could be bloating, particularly after meals, gas, either diarrhea or constipation, abdominal pain, heartburn. So these are a lot of the common symptoms, but the only way to really know definitively is to get a gastro test done, a stool test rather is what I would say. And I would say these issues are becoming increasingly common because of, antibiotic use, pesticides, stress, and yes, menopause. But you do not have to live with these issues. because again, there are a bunch of comprehensive stool tests available that can specifically identify what is going on in your gut and then what you need to do to heal. Certainly you can try out some of my recommendations today and see if you get some benefit from it, but otherwise I suggest digging in a little deeper. Finally, menopause definitely can be a challenging time, and there's so many things we can't control as we're changing, but taking these proactive steps to take care of your gut is something that you definitely can do, and it really can have a significant impact. So thank you for listening, and if you have enjoyed this and found it useful, I would love if you would give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my station, share, and comment below if you have any of these symptoms or what you might do, changes that you could make maybe to help yourself. And if you would like to know what a personal plan might look like for you, I would love to chat with you, and there is a link in the description below to book a no-cost call. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.